Today, I'm going to show you how to quickly and easily knit beautiful and above all, warm felt slippers for home and winter. You will need about 200 grams of wool felt. I knit shoe sizes 40 and 41 and need around 180 grams approximately, and a set of double-pointed needles in the appropriate size. I have needle size 10 here. In sizes 40 and 41, you start by casting on 34 stitches. I use a little trick, always 2 needles to keep it nice and loose. It's okay, you take your thread, go forward, go through these corners, grab the thread from the back and pull it through. So you have the first 2 out of 34 stitches. Make sure you have enough thread at the end. You can take a little more at the end as we will need it for sewing. 2, 3, now it continues again. We have this cross here, we go in from the bottom, then we take the thread from the back over the bottom and pull it through this loop. I will write in my description how many stitches you need to cast on for the other sizes. When you have cast on the 34 stitches, we will see each other again. After you have cast on your 34 stitches, pull out a needle and we will now knit the next 35 stitches in stockinette stitch. That means we start knitting all the stitches on the right side. This means that the thread is behind the needle, we insert it into the stitch at the front, grab the thread, pull it out, and take a right stitch from the needle. You need to be a bit careful at the beginning, especially with the larger sizes, so that it doesn't slip down at the back. A good tip is that if you switch back and forth, you can always put the cork back in so it doesn't slip off the needle. We're now knitting 35 stitches, and then we need the whole set of double-pointed needles to continue knitting in rounds. That's basically the opening where you can slip in. And at the same time, the feet, which makes these shoes very, very easy, because you don't have to knit any feet. So it's suitable even for complete knitting beginners, and with the thick yarn, you have something substantial in your hands. One shouldn't be surprised. It will take significantly longer than the finished product, as the felting in the washing machine shrinks the entire work by about 40%. Good, we will knit the last stitch just as it appears in our first row, so to the right. We turn the work and knit the second round now with the left hand. Left stitches are done like this. We take the yarn in front of the needle, insert it, pull the yarn through, and then pull it back out. It means to insert the needle into the stitch, pull the yarn through the stitch, and onto the next needle. So the left machine stretches out, Here you can also see left stitches, so we take these stitches that have a bobble. When you look at the other side, it's smooth here, so you're not quite sure where you are. You can see here in this bobble that it is a left stitch to knit. We finish the round as it appears, so with a purl stitch and turn the work again. Round 2 completed. Can you see it already? Our pattern is slowly appearing in smooth knit, and as mentioned, that makes 35 rounds now. Always alternate a row on the right and a row on the left, so that the pattern appears smooth on the right side. When you have done that, we will see each other again. After the 35 rows, distribute the stitches evenly onto 4 needles. That means with the 34 stitches I cast on, I will always decrease alternately by 8 and so on. 9 stitches on one needle. Just pass the stitches over. Then 8 stitches again, and then 9 stitches again. Your work looks like this now. Now you can join them here, and from now on we will knit in rounds. We knit in rounds to stay in stockinette stitch, always using only knit stitches. Now you can slowly recognize the shape of the shoe. Here at the back we will sew together. This is basically the fairy here. Here we will slip in, and then the foot will come in front and eventually the tip. In the rounds we knit our right stitches just as usual. The 2 transitions, you can look at the fairies for beginners so that you knit relatively tightly, so that the transitions of, although the filling wool is also quite good. Then we can move the filling wool up, and then the filling wool up, and then the filling wool up, and then the filling wool up. Then we can really knit dogs and rounds in our arm stretch now, just always in the right stitches, and in my size, now 29 rounds. And after that, we'll meet again at the tip. So, after the 29 rounds, your work should look something like this. Don't be surprised, they shrink quite a bit when washed, almost by half really. The 30th round, so in the 30th, in the round we start our peak, which means we knit the right stitches normally, and the last 2 stitches are knitted together. It's quite simple. Instead of knitting 1 stitch on the right, we now knit the 2 together as 1, which means we insert the needle into the back one and knit it like a regular right stitch. That means the 2 stitches are now becoming 1. In the next round, we will do the same, which means we will knit all stitches on the right side again except for the last 2 stitches, which we will knit together on the right side. The 3rd and 4th needles are knitted in the same way, meaning we knit all the stitches on the right except for the last 2, which we knit together on the right. We will repeat this for as long as it takes, really in every round, until we have only 2 stitches left on each needle. Then we'll see each other again for sewing. So now we can cut the thread, leaving a little bit for sewing in, and then we can sew in the thread. I use a hectometer needle for this, but if you have a regular needle that you can thread the yarn through, you can of course use that as well. So, in this way, I take the first stitch, pull it off the needle, and use the crochet hook to pick up the remaining yarn and pull it through the stitch. That was completely through. I'll do the same with the next one and go right into the stitch. Pull the thread and pass the thread through the stitch. Back into the stitch, grab the thread, nice and calm. It's a bit cumbersome like this, but it works quite well. That's only 8 stitches. Pull the thread through the stitch and pull it through. So, now we turn the work and pull our thread through the thread search from the back. Now let's get a bit fuzzy and pull him through the hole. So, now let's tighten the thread a bit before we have any holes and finish the matter. Now we go in here and pull the thread through. Then into the next stitch, insert the needle, thread it through. I do this about 6 to 7 times. Tighten it again from the other side and so on. Then you can simply cut the thread. We proceed similarly at the back. We still need to sew this together. That means we bring together the two sides of our committee and focus especially up here. It often turns out that we really catch both edges. Then we also have our starting thread. We insert it into the stitch on the other side, grab the starting thread and pull it through. Now we go in from the other side, go through the stitches here, go through the second stitch on the other side, and pull the thread through both stitches. Turn the work again, next stitches, insert on both sides, pull the thread and pull it through. They will do that until the end as well. Then you just need to make your little bow and felt your shoe. See you later. Our little bow is also very quick to knit. We take enough yarn again. And now cast on 45 stitches. Then you have to be careful again that you don't fall off the back at some point. If necessary, just attach it to the basket core. I already showed you the cast on technique earlier. I will hit it now, and then we will tie it off to the right. So we have cast on our 45 stitches and are now immediately binding them off again. To bind off, you need a second needle. Knit one stitch normally, knit a second stitch, and then lift the back stitch over the front stitch. This is how you bind off stitches. So, lift it up, now you only have one stitch left on the needle, knit another stitch, pull the back one over the front one, and bind off the second stitch. Now do the whole row. Good, we are done now. That means we are now cutting the thread. Cut the thread, then we simply pull the thread out and that's it. So, now let's tie a little bow. I'll just take the right over the left and press it together here. There you have such a little ribbon. Take some thread, also some from the felt wool, and tie it together here. Do you see it? Look, everything is about the same size. Of course, you can theoretically also make a little heart or whatever else you want to sew onto your shoes. So I'm making a double knot, maybe even 3. You won't sew the little ribbon onto your 2 shoes just yet, as you will first felt them together. Felting works by washing the 2 loops and the 2 shoes together in the washing machine at 40 degrees for about 2 hours. I would suggest around 1,000 rotations. A little tip here is that it will felt even better if you wash a tennis ball or an old towel along with it. Also, here's a tip. When you take the finished felted shoes out of the washing machine, you can shape them while they are still damp. If they are for you or for the acquaintance who happens to be there, it's best to put them on while they are still damp, as they will then perfectly adapt to the shape of your feet and thus become truly well-fitting individual pieces. Then, you simply sew the ribbons onto the shoes and you're done. Hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see each other again soon.